Two, despite given the circumstances of where we're coming from. So, ah, we can have. I can hold on. Where's Alonso? Oh, okay, cool. Where's Kingsley? Jumping. Where's my peeps? Come on. Where's Kingsley? Where's my Twitter my Spaces co-host? Kingsley, where you at? Come in, people. Let's come in. Who's jumping in to join me? I figure Anthony's gonna come in. Anthony, if you're gonna come in here, you're gonna go, boy, like, I'm gonna kick you out. Wake up. You don't have flow anymore.
That's what I'm talking about. Get in
well,
there,
well,
lads.
you saw much better. I can accept that. What's that?
I told you yesterday, ain't it, that Lewis will get P2, man. I'm happy for the team, man. I'm like I said to you
Oh
yesterday.
shit! They're
This
showing Louis' new girlfriend Shakira.
fucking
They're just showing Louis' new
yeah,
girlfriend
I saw that.
Shakira. you know, Twitter's gonna blow up now. That
Yeah,
yeah, they
oh,
show Shakira. Yeah, there's something there. There's true. There's some truth there to that story. But either way, that's beside the point. I think we're not even going to talk about Max because it was pretty much it was always going to be Max racing himself, and it seems like even racing himself, he has to cheat. Like, dude, you are in front and you're abusing track limits. Who you racing? You have nobody in
Bro has a
front.
black and white
You
flag
got
already.
you got a black and white flag racing yourself. Like I've never I've never seen that before. A guy just cruising out front and still abusing track limits, getting black and white flag. But either way,
exactly. But
either way,
no, I'm happy. No,
go
I'm
on.
happy today. I was just like yesterday. I could see that Lewis, if he didn't mess up in turn 10, he would have been he would have got P2 yesterday.
Well, I mean, oh, he got driver of the day. Oh shit!
Yes, finally.
But
It must have been,
Put it this way. He finished where he should have qualified yesterday.
yeah, of course. And I hope I've read one of your tweets, and I'd have to agree with you. I hope this pushes us forward now in terms of being more competitive. And it's not just track specific, because
Here,
last year we were competitive.
here.
Yeah, we were competitive here, and then the next couple of races, just like. But yeah, man.
The thing is, I want
What's
all the
what's
people.
the next race?
I think the next race is I think it's probably Austria.
No, Canada.
Oh, is it Canada?
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Canada,
so.
Canada.
that's perfect
So the
then.
thing,
Oh, that's
I
perfect.
want all the people who Friday who lost their shit. Oh, the upgrade is rubbish, and partially I blame Lewis for that because that dude needs to
Well,
kind of like
he apologized.
No,
He
yeah
No,
apologized.
he
no, no,
apologized
no.
later, but the point
Thanos,
he,
Thanos.
in his,
Let's
he
go
did it
back to
in his
the
minute.
conversation where Alpine was saying Mercedes is the target and they're going to pass them.
Yes, yes, let's go there first.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I'm not taking that.
dude, watch
And
watch
Oh, I know.
and
watch
the worst thing
Mercedes.
about that was like the timeline was actually believing that their uh, although their target could be true or maybe that's what they're aiming for, but that is actually happening in real time and they were tweeting at Mercedes.
Watch Mercedes drop Aston now.
No,
This is the
aren't
interesting
they
thing.
already P2?
No, yeah, the
Yes,
P2 in the
Yeah,
championship, but the point is, watch them drop because
yeah,
George started behind both Astons and he finished basically a pit stop ahead of both of them.
yeah.
yeah. But
And
don't forget.
honestly, this track is something that Aston should have been good at because they have a high efficiency car, right?
Yeah.
Because
Hmm.
this is something where Aston should have actually whooped us
One
really bad.
one one upgrade and Mercedes already left Ferrari and Aston is gone.
No, but
Well,
let's not get carried away. Last
well,
year as well,
No,
this is a
no, I
track
am
that led.
Yeah,
Baron. I am carried away. I
I
mean,
think we can. Yeah, I
you
even
know,
if
think.
this was track
it,
specific, the gap, the
this
gap.
Hold on. Okay,
Wrexham.
okay, people, we're talking over each other, one at a time,
Yeah,
please.
even if this was track specific, the gap with which they left the Aston Martin. I mean, come on, that is not
Yeah,
just track.
that's
That's not just track.
They didn't. The Aston
And
wasn't even close, and I think had Lewis not fallen behind Stroll early in the race, he probably would have been closer to Max.
If Lando
That
didn't hit Lewis, it would have been a little bit
you,
better too.
you're gonna have to join the queue. We're gonna use the hand system. I think you know had that incident with Lando not happen and him falling behind Stroll, he probably would have gotten signs a bit earlier. But either
Yeah.
way, good recovery drive from him.
He
Good,
was, if you follow his onboard, he was matching Max
yeah,
every time.
yeah,
His
yeah.
lap
I was
time was
watching it.
similar,
There
completely.
was
You
a
can
there
compare
was a
both of them.
there
Yeah.
was a time that they were basically like a tenth, I
Yeah, it
think,
tends. It tends.
over
Sometimes
the
Lewis is
between the two of them.
ahead, then sometimes Max
Yeah,
is ahead. On similar tires, they were just doing the
but
similar
if
lap
you look
time.
at if you work out the gap, was it Max finished what 24 seconds, and if you average that over 66 lap, it's
Yeah,
what just over 3/10 of a second.
yeah,
We have
that's the difference.
obviously we have to throw the caveat in that Max wasn't really pushing
Yeah, but
pushing
when
to
he
the
went for, okay, look at it this way. When he went for the fastest lap, he pushed and he
yeah
did one sixteen
he did
three.
a 16.
Lewis did 1:16.6. That's his three
And
tenths.
Lewis and
Three
Yes,
and Lew-
tenths, 3 tenths
yeah, and
yes,
difference.
Lewis and Max was on brand new tires compared to Lewis
exactly. Lewis is
use
using
up.
a
But
used one.
anyway,
Yeah,
we can't really read too much. We have to take that with a bit of caveat, to say if Max was pushing in the race, he probably would have had probably could have it would have moved from 3/10 to probably half a second. But either way, it's still encouraging for Mercedes on a whole. Hopefully, like I said, it's not a flash in the pan sort of thing. I don't think it is because
No.
I think Friday was a bit of an overreaction from Lewis, and I'm glad he kind of held his hand up and said, "Yeah, you know what, I was a bit wrong to get myself ahead." You know what I mean in that regard. So fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. But I like how they dropped Aston, they dropped the Ferraris. They weren't even racing them today. To be honest, I think Mercedes was. I think the more race was between George and Perez as to see where they could finish because once Lewis
Rosberg
got,
is doing the interviews.
eh?
Oh, come on.
I know. We need a professional
How about
interviewer who just
Rosberg?
interviews all the
What the
drivers the
fuck?
whole time. What is this?
Oh,
Lewis doesn't even want to
oh,
speak to
this the
Nico.
bitch they gave the interview to. Uh, oh, all right,
Ugh.
Ruby. Hold on. So I'm gonna go across the line. Star Charger Joe. Ruby, you spoke already. You're gonna have to wait. Star Charger Joseph and Sean C.
Yo, so well, yeah, this was pretty much par for the course, man. You know, yeah. First of all, how I hope everybody's doing all right. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody enjoyed the race somewhat.
Rather, even though it was rather
Um,
uneventful, but yeah.
I mean, there was a lot more passing now, thanks to them removing that dumbass chicane that was there for decades. It should never have been there in the first place, but yeah, there was still a lot more. There was a lot more passing on here, and so that was cool. But at the same time, the RB19. Let's just be honest. The RB19 is on another planet, pulling gaps on people on hards while everybody else is on the softer compounds. I posted it earlier, and I'm just like, guys, come on. Does F1 not see how ridiculous this is? That they allowed this team to do what they did, get away with it, and now look at what they're doing for. But aside from all that, the W14 upgrades, well, yeah, they've come good. And it's more an indictment that the team should have ditched the zero pod concept a lot sooner than what they did. I mean, it's ridiculous to see just how much better off they are right now compared to where they were being stubborn by keeping that concept around. But hey, man, good 2-3. That's good points. It could have been a little. I don't know how much better it could have been if it wasn't for the contact with Norris earlier
It
in the
probably
race, and
the
it would have been a
results would
lot
have
worse.
not. I mean, if there was no,
I don't think it would have changed,
it
but
wouldn't have
it
changed the
it could have been a
result.
lot
I mean,
worse.
the only thing bad that could have happened was Lewis picked up a puncher because I thought he picked up a puncher because
I almost did. I almost
when
thought so
Stroll
too
got
when he lost
past
that.
him and then I noticed he was like dropping back from Stroll. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Did he, is this a damage to the car?
Did
But
he get?
I mean, outside of that, if there wasn't the contact with Lando, P2 was naturally where Lewis was going to finish.
Yeah, it was
It was pretty
basically the
much
ceiling where it
guaranteed.
could go unless something happened to Max. Unless something happened to Max, yeah, P2 was the ceiling based on the pace because I did the calculation. It was about three .37 was the delta in terms of the average pace per lap.
Yo, hey, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's that?
What in
Who's
the
that?
world?
Who's that? Who's that?
I have no idea.
Oh, that's
I've muted him. It's
yeah,
That
Winston.
wasn't
He's the
cool.
one
yeah,
that came.
that's his. Yeah, sorry, go on, Star Trek.
Well, just continuing on real quick. Basically, yeah, almost 0.4 a second a lap is the delta over that 66 lap race distance, and I figured that was about the the delta between Mercedes and Red Bull, even with the upgrades. And the big surprise in this one, the big shock, of course, was friggin' Aston Martin, man. They were nowhere. And 6 and 7, I mean, 6 and 7 is still pretty decent points, but the fact that Stroll still hasn't, this was the first race Stroll was able to actually, come ahead of Fernando and actually pull some weight. But the fact that Fernando's been
Yeah,
doing the
but
lion's share of the heavy
Fernando
lifting
basically
this
gave him
season.
that position because I think if you look at Fernando's pace at the end, he could
Absolutely,
have passed them. So I think he gave him that position,
absolutely.
which is kind of odd.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, Fernando's given Aston Martin their position in the Constructors' Championship because now Mercedes have overtaken them, even though Aston Martin has had better performance with Fernando getting on podiums for the majority of the season. And well, now Mercedes are now in a much better catbird position in terms of making developments on that car by Silverstone in order for things to be a lot better suited for how they're going to go forward. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, today was a great result. I'm curious to see how they back it up. I think Canada's the next
Yeah,
race in 2 weeks.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the case. So I can't wait to see what they do there. But at the same time, yeah, man, Red Bull, yeah, forget about it. And then I'm just laughing at Ferrari, man. Like,
All right, then cool.
dude, to think they wanted Lewis to go there.
Chaos.
And Adrian Newey. Lewis and Adrian Newey. They really thought they could have that cake and
famous
eat it.
contrarian podcaster looking like an Arsenal, but then again, he was always an Arse anyway. But anyway, thanks, Star Charge. I'm gonna move on to some because
No worries.
I
No
got
worries.
people. It was what Joseph, Sean C. Then I'm going Ruby, Mr. T, and then Jordan Loss. Varuna, you still here?
Yeah, I was muted. I'm still here.
All right, cool. Go on, Joseph.
Yeah, before I celebrate about Mercedes, that 5 second penalty of Yuki Tsunoda was bad. Like, that was just
Repeat
bad.
it again.
Yuki Tsunoda has a 5 second penalty.
Oh, okay.
For pushing off Zoe out of the track. No, that's too extreme, man. I don't accept that.
Yeah,
But he actually did push him off the track. He didn't give you enough space. The guy had to take avoiding action, otherwise they would have crashed.
Yeah, exactly. But that 5 second penalty is too much. It's too much.
I mean, it's a standard penalty, isn't it?
It's standard penalty for pushing off the track. Yeah.
It's a standard penalty.
It's a standard penalty, but in the past we've seen on this track, and even at the start, Max actually pushed Sainz off, and then other drivers also pushed others off. Max pushed Lewis off 21, and there have been several instances where this has not been punished. What Yuki did was really
exactly.
No, but what Yuki did was really tame in comparison to what other drivers have done, and that didn't warrant a penalty.
I think that was a bit harsh because Yuki was on the inside going into the corner, so the natural the corner then moves to left.
Dude, even Russell on Sainz the second time around, he actually like full on went very aggressive, and he was almost on the limit of what Max would do to other drivers, like but at last minute lunge it in and then go wide, and then Sainz actually backed out of it. Watch that second time. Russell didn't get anything, and then that's good, but Yuki didn't deserve that either. I think that's the point.
All right, cool. All right, carry on, Joseph.
Yeah, but anyways, I mean, any driver who overtakes from the outside with a driver defending from the inside knows that somebody's gonna cut him off in the racing line when he comes up of that corner.
Especially if the next corner is a left-hander. So.
Yes, but yeah, that is just too heavy of a penalty for me personally. But anyways, moving on. Yeah, I'm really happy about this race, P2, P3. But I really want to see very keen to see Canada next because this Barcelona coming out of Monaco, Barcelona is just the first step of the upgrades. What more if Canada comes up? I think in Canada last year we didn't really do really good in Canada last year, and also in Barcelona we did good. Um, but the thing is, my point is basically like I don't want to get too much happy with these upgrades because this is the first time we're seeing these upgrades with its full potential. Verstappen is like still 24 on race pace, 24 seconds ahead of the whole pack, but that doesn't really
Well,
represent anything.
just to give you some info on Canada last year, Lewis qualified P4, finished P3. So
Mm.
Canada wasn't as bad. Was it was still a good race, even though he qualified 1.5 seconds off pole. But can't go on.
But yeah, anyways, like that's all I wanted to say because yeah, I'm really happy for this Mercedes, but that Sonoda penalty didn't really. It was too heavy
All
for
right,
And
go.
I
me.
think and I think more important for Mercedes upgrades was that suspension because I think last year in Spain they also ran really low because this track is smooth. But let's see them go to Canada, which is a bumpy track, and still do a low ride height and extract maximum performance. I think that is the true test of how these work because, of course, they're
And
faster.
actually, you know what? The thing with these upgrades, it's good that they've introduced these upgrades earlier than Silverstone, because last year, like Silverstone was
Dude,
the
brush your
first
teeth.
time that they
Bro.
introduced.
No, they've introduced first time in Spain and then again in Silverstone. This year also, I
Oh
expect
yeah,
them to be very similar. They'll do it right now and then
And
again in
remember, and
Silverstone.
also this is a Frankenstein car. This is kind of like a test bed for what
Oh yeah,
the future,
yeah.
because it's a mixture of the W15, what the W15 is supposed to be, and the W14. So it's a Frankenstein machine.
Yeah, and
But
it's got something left of the W13 as well. The you know
yeah, I hope we need to exercise that demon up, quickly. All right, thanks, Joseph.
and I mean
All right,
yeah,
thanks. I'm gonna move on because I'm gonna be pressed for time.
Yeah, same to you.
Sean, what's up?
Hey, Thanos, Kingsley, VF1, what's up, everyone?
Hi.
We're good. What's up? Go on.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a bit upset with you lot, man. What's going on? It's like I'm on Ferrari space. We're supposed to be happy. This is looking good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I feel like I'm on
yeah, but
Ferrari
you have to
space
be
today.
cautious.
What's
But
going
you
on?
have to you still have to be cautiously optimistic, because again, last year
I am not.
we saw this. Well, you know me, Kingsley.
I am not
I'm
cautious
normally very
optimistic.
optimistic about certain things, but I'm
Yeah,
being
I'm very
cautious this time
optimistic.
because we
I've
got
seen
bitten
enough
last
to not
year, but
this guy
because of it.
fine.
But
Yeah.
go on, Sean.
If this was last year car, after what happened on Friday, Saturday, we wouldn't be able to change that car back again with the setup. The fact that they can have a car that was bad on Friday and then able to get a different setup that works, that tells me this car has a larger window to work with than last year's car.
Agree, Kingsley. And even Lewis said, when was it lap 4 or 5? He said the balance is amazing.
Oh yes,
So
yes.
compare that to the one he had last year, the previous, the last year car. That car, he was fighting it, even though he was quick last year. He was fighting it literally. Every lap he was going through it. So, and the team itself are saying there's more to come. They were actually saying they could have done more this race, weren't they? Did you catch that,
What?
Thanos?
Yeah, yeah, they actually said
Said what?
that they could
Yeah,
have
they were.
done better than what they did. Yeah.
Repeat again. What did they say?
Yeah,
After qualifying yesterday, I think there was a
you were
report.
saying
I think they were
we
saying they should have done better
Oh
than
yeah,
what they
I
did
mean,
today.
they were if
exactly.
given
Hmm.
they were I tweeted it. The fact that they were so disappointed with the qualifying result yesterday tells you how they felt
It was a good
the
performance.
car was, because they
Yeah,
felt like they should have been
yeah.
further up the grid, and the result just proved it. And normally, so I think this tells you that they kind of have some confidence in that what they've done. They're now on the right track, because they would have probably been like, yeah, we're happy with a P5 or P4,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's good. But go on.
Yeah, so do you know what? I'm not like you guys who's cautiously optimistic. I'm happy. I think we are heading the right direction. The thing that gives me more confidence now is Lewis is happy with the car. And also, well done to George. I didn't really expect him to come through and be on the podium today, but well done to him. He's done well. He's done well. What's funny though about the rain bit that he was talking about there? What was that about? Um, anyway, I'm happy. I think we're heading in the right direction there with the team. And the only worrying bit is that Emalian guy. He's got some insane race pace right now, and it's gonna be hard to catch them this year. Probably next year. That's the only concern I have. There's no competition for Emalian, is there?
Okay, cool. All right, then. Hold on. Just a quick question, Kingsley Varun. When does isn't it the end of this month they reset the wind tunnel and CFD allocations?
Yeah, it happened before. It happened before this race. 1st of June,
Oh
they
yeah, so it's the
reset.
first.
It'll be
So it's the
June.
first of June.
Yeah,
Okay,
It's
cool.
yeah.
yeah,
So no, so
Mercedes was
yeah.
P3 and now they're P2, so they got the P3 time.
yeah, so that means okay. So when does the Red Bull penalty kicks in? Does it kick? Because I'm
Yeah,
sure
now.
didn't
No,
Didn't
but
this?
Pretty
it's on
much
the
now. Pretty much
overall
now,
time
Thanos.
they're allocated for the entire year. So for
Yeah,
whatever they can spend on the 2023 car, it's so obviously there are some CFT time that you spend in 2022 as well, right? So for example, if you have like 400 hours, you already spent
yeah.
300 preparing, so you just got 100 left, and now you realize you have a 10% penalty, so you've got 360 hours, so you only got 60 left for the entire year. So that's the way the penalty works. You already used a good chunk of your penalty.
Okay.
So it
All right.
depends on how you develop the first half.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks, Vern. How did I say? Was it Mr. T? All right, Mr. T, Ruby, and then
Yeah,
Jordan.
Jordan.
Jordan,
Yeah.
don't worry, I'm coming to you after Ruby, mate. Don't worry. Mr. T, go on. Panny.
Sorry, I was preoccupied.
That's all right, man. Go.
Is it
Yeah,
me
yeah,
now?
yeah. It's you.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I mean, everyone's going to be saying, "Oh yeah, great race," which is good. We all know that. We saw what we saw today. All right, second car or second race in with the introduction of upgrades, so it's a nice step forward. Um, my encouragement seen today, I know it may be, let's say, layout specific because Barcelona last turn or the penultimate turn, I should say, has changed. But more straight line speed was good today.
Yep.
Using DRS. I mean, for the start of this year and also the tail end of that of last year, whenever Merck had any inkling in running down a Ferrari, we could never get past them down the straights.
Mm-hmm.
Today we got past them easily, which was, like I said, it's encouraging, but it may be track specific. But that for me was the biggest thing that I take away with today, saying good on tire management, good overall performance, comfortably, at least today in today's conditions, by far the second best team with good straight line speed. So looking forward to at least the next race and see what happens from then on in.
All right, cool.
So overall, good.
All right, cool.
That's
All
it,
right,
man.
thanks. I just heard they just interviewed Toto on Sky, and he said they whilst the gap was 24 seconds, realistically it was actually 50, around 15. So they don't think that the 24 seconds is a real representative of what the race time the gap is. So that's what 9 seconds they've wiped off of it.
Yeah, I was listening to him too. Yeah, but basically they have more data than
Yeah.
we do.
So
I think they
I mean,
factor that
so if you
into
work out
the final.
15 seconds over 66 laps, that's less. That's about
That's not huge. That's not
that's
huge.
what 2/10. If my math is right, it's about 2/10. But like I said, that has to be taken with a bit of caveat because we don't know how much more Max had in him.
I can we okay. Let's say we don't know the measurement of that will be when he went for the fastest lap,
True.
which means he was pushing full time to get that, and he did 16.3. Then Lewis did go for the fastest lap, and he did 16.6. So I'm thinking 3 tenths basically. That's the range.
Yeah, which works out to what? Because I
What
was
they actually
calculating the
saying to
gap whilst the race
yeah,
was going, and I kept it still averaged out around 3/10 every time I
yes,
calculated it. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
let's hold caveat on that one. All right. Ruby Rose, what's up?
Oh my God, it's taking so long to speak.
Yeah, because you're not co-host this week.
Everyone's taking my points. It's like it takes so
You're not
long,
co-host this week.
Thanos. Anyway,
You came late.
what I wanted to say was, obviously, happy about P2. I'm not going to repeat what everyone else has just said. I'm happy about it.
Oh,
However,
God.
why our pit stops slower?
Oh my
We
God.
don't no on Lewis's
Ruby,
chart.
come on, man. You're
Great.
such a Debbie Downer about the pit
No,
stop. We
no,
won
no.
today,
Let's
man. We
not
got
get
a victory.
comfortable.
Stop
Allow
it now,
it.
Ruby. Stop
We
it.
got our victory today, our second and third,
Well,
man. Be
it's
happy with
facts.
that.
It's facts. It's
Uh,
facts. I'm
Listen,
just pointing out
forget about.
facts.
Well, who
We went.
cares? We
Both
got
of
the we
Lewis's
got the
pit
Ruby,
points.
stops
Who
were not
Ruby,
cares?
under 3
Ruby,
seconds.
Who
Ruby.
cares? We got the
I
points.
do,
Anthony,
That's all
and
that
it's my turn
matters.
to speak. When
oh,
you
Lewis
speak,
Anthony,
you
P2,
can
George
Anthony,
speak.
let her
P3.
go.
Forget about the pit
No,
stop, man. Who
Anthony,
Let her
cares?
go.
You're
Let her
perfectly fine to speak when it's your turn, and if about things you care about, which I hardly care about. But when
Listen,
I
I got
speak,
Anthony,
bamboozled
I'll speak
Anthony,
about
yesterday.
what
dude.
I
I
care
got
about. I
jumped
don't
and
understand why it's a double standard that you get to speak and I don't,
Anthony,
because you don't
let us
care.
speak. Anthony, please, let us speak.
Bullshit.
'Cause-
Anyway, apart from the pit stops, I'm
fun.
happy that the
Anthony,
Anthony don't come in.
chill, man.
Don't make me.
Children. Come on. Let's keep it civil, people.
Anyway, happy for Lewis. I think what I was actually more encouraged about was the fact that he was pushing Bono for him to do the fastest lap. He actually thought he could get it. That was more reassuring to me about his confidence in the car than anything else I was seeing. So that was good. But yeah, anyway, I'm
You're,
going to finish there.
Ruby's right. Do you know he actually asked Bono? Bono was hesitating to give him
He
the
was.
HP people. Yeah, he actually kept quiet for a while. Louis said he wants to go for it. They were actually afraid because it was towards the later
And
part
he
of the
said,
race.
Lewis's words were, just let me go for it,
Let me
okay?
go
And
for
then,
it. Yeah, he was making a case
yeah,
actually. You're correct. Yeah, I listened to that
that
also.
was actually quite
Yeah, it was
reassuring.
reassuring. Yeah, it was reassuring.
Ruby just didn't want Ruby likes chaos. That's why she picked up on the pit stop.
Yeah, she brought it. It had
No, I like
grenade
a
into the
perfect
conversation.
12.
But she is right though. Our pit
Yeah,
stops
what was
are fucking
Lewis pit
slow.
stop was
She
what,
is
3.4?
It wasn't that
It was
bad.
3.4.
It
It
was
was
three.
3.4
It
But
wasn't
instead
but
of Lewis
George
bad.
1.2.
huh? Who was 1.2?
Yes, but the first one we got 3 points. I think we did 3.01.
4. Didn't
3.0
Yeah,
and then
yeah, but
3.4.
what was
3.4
George?
second one.
Because George was a 2.6.
He had one
He
that
did
was
2.6.
2.4.
It was 2.4, 2.6. I think he did 2.6 or 2.4. I can't remember.
yeah, but
I guess
compare that to Red
yeah,
Bull
but
though.
I guess
2.2 was the lowest they did. 2.2.
Yeah,
but
2.2 was Red Bull,
I
but
guess they
So
felt
what's that? I think we tried.
I guess they
I
felt
don't
like,
really
look,
hold it against them.
rather we're in a comfortable position, no need to rush. They didn't lose anything or gain anything from it. But I get your point. It's something that they need to start make sure that the average pit stop is within 2.5 seconds.
Yeah,
That's where they need to average, because
that's true.
the 3 second pit stops. It's not like
Because when you ca-
it's not when you had
Mhm.
it's not back in your W11 days where you had the pace. You can do
when,
those sort of stuff.
when you start catching up to the Red Bull later, that 0.5 second will mean a lot.
Makes I
If
mean
you actually have, yeah.
France 2021, it was half a second that made a difference. So
Yeah, that
you
was
know
a
what I mean.
difference. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks, Ruby, and please, we calm down on the chaos. Jordan, what's up, Jordan?
how am I getting blamed for it? Sorry, Jordan.
You dropped a grenade in this conversation, Ruby.
Jordan, go on.
Uh,
What's up?
yeah, hi guys. So yeah, great result today. Is really good. See that from the Mercs, but I'm just gonna calm down things a little. I think I need to not get carried away with this, purely because of what happened last year here as well, which is kind of they brought that upgrade, and basically last year at the Spanish Grand Prix, everyone was really excited until the car was suddenly running on the deck and it had great pace, and they were like, "Oh, we're back and we're going to challenge for the championship now." It didn't quite happen. Because there's more factors at play. Reason why this track suits them more than other teams, like for example, Aston Martin's car is a downforce monster. It's got very dirty downforce, which explains why they haven't been as fast here this weekend, because they haven't got the efficiency on the straights. They've got a lot of drag that comes with the key advantage of their car. So Aston Martin will definitely come back and be much closer around twistier tracks and more corners.
But Jordan,
Didn't they bring upgrade?
but Jordan,
Didn't they bring upgrade
yeah,
to
they
this
did.
track?
But Jordan, just to
yeah, they did.
just to kind of like you said, you're talking about last year they brought an upgrade and whatnot, but I
Yeah,
think this is more encouraging because you have to consider the size of the upgrade they brought this year compared to last year. This is pretty much they brought somewhat kind of like a half of a car they brought in terms of upgrade because it's a brand new suspension they're running with. They've never used it before, so a new floor, new bodywork, or whatsoever. So I think whilst I understand and agree with you in some ways that we kind of have to be careful and kind of like Toto pretty much said the same thing, kind of temper expectation. Don't say we're back as yet because there's still more to know, more unknown at other tracks. But I think you can somewhat be cautiously optimistic that they're now on the right track, and we should see
And
the
also I
I think
think
I
and
think
I don't think hold on sorry and with Varun, I respected to us Aston, there was only one straight here. In the corners, they still weren't better than the Mercedes.
uh,
no,
yeah,
but
but
honestly, I think that like this point is right. Like, of course, you want to check it at other tracks, but what was hurting them last year was that this track they actually slammed the car into the ground and it started working because that's how the concept was designed to work. That you seal the floor and the concept will have high downforce. But and as soon as they went to other tracks which were bumpy and they had to raise the car, they lost everything of the downforce. So this year with the new
yeah, but
suspension, I think they can run softer springs, and that's one of the
the upgrade was meant to fix that, wasn't it? And it didn't fix that at the
Yeah, but
track.
yeah.
then
But no,
That,
but
and
last
that's
year they didn't have a
100%.
suspension that
Again,
allowed
that's
them.
just saying like
This year they
the characteristics of the tracks massively influences what we
yeah,
see. And all teams design their
yeah,
cars, or at
but
least
was it
Mercedes and
but
Red
was
Bull
it
design
not?
their cars literally for
Yeah,
this track because it's the best
no, but
representation, an
Hold on,
average
Jordan. But
track.
was it not also mentioned last year that part of the issues they had was also related to suspension?
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the main reasons why they can't actually run the car on the deck everywhere.
Hmm.
Um, but that's not so relevant anymore because
I think they can also
um,
run softer
the
springs
issue
with
this
the
year has been actually just generating downforce.
Sorry.
Their issues this year has actually been just generating downforce as opposed to not being able to run the car obviously as optimally as they would like.
And this
So it's
upgrade
very different issues from year to year.
and this upgrade package is geared towards changing that. It's like they said, it's a baseline. It's not the final product. It's a baseline to what they want to do. So obviously, we listened to the last race debrief. James Allison said no, they're going to start focusing on adding performance to the package. So it's going to evolve and get better. So you can I get your point, but you can still be a bit cautiously optimistic that no,
yeah.
they're actually on the right
No,
path
because
because
also
the car,
What's the point
yeah,
though? Because you're just setting yourself up to be
why
disappointed again
can't
if it
but you
doesn't work.
that's
Like I think
hence the phrase cautiously optimistic. You're not going in full blooded and
no,
said
I don't believe in optimism. I believe in realism. And we'll only see whether the upgrades work if we see a few more tracks with a few more different
you're only
yeah.
characteristics.
operating.
One track is not a sample
No one
size
said
big
no
enough
one
to
said
say,
no one
and Mercedes are back
no
in the
one is
fight.
saying it's a sample size, but if you also look in Monaco, they weren't that bad in Monaco, were they?
Yeah.
If you
No,
look
but Monaco
Well, they
didn't
weren't
have
no
great. I
no
mean, they
but
finished behind an Alpine
yeah, but it's why they finished,
because it's hard to overtake them.
why they
Of course.
finished behind the Alpine in Monaco. So that really doesn't both make any sense.
because they didn't have the pace in qualifying. So I
Uh,
mean, yeah.
they struggle to find the pace in qualifying here as well, but that's a trait of how they work, right?
Well, no, I would disagree with that though because I think Lewis just had a scruffy final lap. The pace was there throughout the entire qualifying session, and they were clearly the second fastest team to Red Bull yesterday. It's just the final lap didn't come together for whatever
No,
reason,
but
in my
no, but
opinion.
look at this. Like, even if they have the best possible lap, they would still be just point 200ths ahead of the next car. But in race pace, they are clearly like 3 or 4 tenths faster. So that the others is not similar to what their race pace gap is to others. So their
Yes,
qualifying is weaker as compared to the race pace. That's the point.
that's
Like if when it goes to a track where you can't overtake and you end up in a situation like that, then their qualifying pace becomes a bigger problem. Like some place like Hungary, like if you get stuck behind another car, then you just get stuck the entire race and you can't do anything about it. At Monaco, that's an extreme. But here, if he was stuck behind a couple of cars because of his qualifying pace, he was able to use his race pace and get through. So his race pace was actually more stronger compared to what what
Jordan,
Mercedes had.
Jordan just likes to be negative.
Which is actually similar to
No,
what
but
we had.
Well, there is no point being positive
why can't you?
whatsoever
What,
because we're
what
not
do you mean?
paying it.
There's no point to be positive.
Boo, Jordan, boo.
You
should
No,
be
but
negative, and then
honestly,
it makes the positives much better and much more
you
enjoyable
operate.
than
You
being
only
extremely
operate in
positive.
binary zeros and one. There's no in between for you. It's either
Well,
on
I'm a
or
software
off.
engineer, so it makes
Huh?
sense. It makes sense for what I do,
Yeah,
but
Jordan is very black. You look at things black
he's
and white.
binary.
You don't see
He's
the
a zeros and one. It's
yeah.
nothing.
He doesn't
I don't
see the
see how you
grey.
cannot say.
There's a grey
Hold on,
no,
area.
but
I don't see you can.
honestly,
I don't
this
see how you can
suspension,
say.
the one that we're
bro.
talking about, Thanos, like the suspension, it gives them an opportunity to run softer springs and even keep the car lower, and it'll not pitch forward. Like that's one of
But
the
did you not see
advantages,
the?
and that will come through. So probably some tracks like Montreal or something that's more bumpy. I think that'll be a test of how far they can run with softer springs and even still keep the downforce that they're intending to keep. So that'll be the next test. Right now, the test on the smooth track. So, for example, any place which is smooth like this. So, for example, we go to Silverstone
Silverstone.
next. That's
Yeah.
also front limited and smooth. So you'll see a replication of this performance. But then you also want to check it on, like crazy.
But you're kind of agreeing with what I'm saying because, like, again, Silverstone last year was a great performance for W13 because it's a smooth track. So
Yeah.
there's no
No,
point
but
getting
last
carried
year,
away with the
what
smooth
no
last
one
year
is.
we
You
didn't
need
But
to
have,
Jordan,
see.
Roddy, was
no
we
one is
didn't have a
saying getting
suspension that allowed us to do that, right? This year we had a suspension, so this year we're going with a new suspension that is giving us new possibilities against what we didn't have last
In
year.
theory,
In
yes.
Jordan,
theory, yeah.
In
what do you mean
theory.
in theory? It literally.
Well, a lot of theory that Mercedes have had over the last 2
Yeah,
years
but
hasn't
that
actually
okay.
Are you still
come
going with
into
the
reality,
cypher
has
thing?
it?
Are you gonna keep going back to that all the time, or are you gonna move forward?
You guys should leave Jordan alone.
I'm not going to move forward because,
The guy's
you know,
traumatized.
All right, cool. All right.
the team needs to prove that they've solved all their correlation issues and they have an understanding of the regs now, which they still haven't yet. So I don't see it as the time to be.
Proven that?
You know,
I still don't.
back in the day, I would believe that Mercedes would have any problem, they'd solve it within the next race because that's how in tune they were with their car.
Yeah,
and
but
what
Jordan,
they were doing. We're
Jordan,
not at that point again
no,
yet,
but,
so you
but,
can't trust
no, but
everything is going to work.
you're again, you're just looking at things in a binary form. You're ignoring other factors that's preventing them from fixing. Because I'm sure if you let one of the biggest issues right now is they can't change the chassis itself. And that's one of the limiting factors they're working with. And if they could change the chassis, surely it would have been the whole package would have been overall better. I think I don't get why you say you can't be cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, but I don't get what your point
Yeah,
is.
you can
Because they haven't changed the
no,
chassis, so
and they
has no relevance to the here and now.
They perform reasonably well this weekend. Friday, you were losing your shit saying basically the upgrades doesn't work. The car is.
I
Yes,
wasn't.
he was. Dog,
No, it wasn't. That was most of the timeline.
No,
I didn't say anything
really?
on Friday.
We're in the same group chat. Don't do
Yes.
that. You were losing your shit over it. You guys.
No, I wasn't.
All right then, cool. All right then, cool.
I think you're confusing me
I'm
and
gonna
Ben.
move on because I have people with their hands up. What's this? Padre. I can't. Padare. I can't pronounce the name. Sorry, mate. You go on, and then it's the guy next to Pani.
It's Anthony.
No, the guy next to Pani. Padare. He has his hand up.
Yeah, but where you talk, man?
He's gone. He's not. He's not. I'm just gonna.
I think he doesn't know his mic.
I don't know. He's not saying nothing. All right, Anthony, go on. And actually, hold on, Anthony, because you talked before. I'm gonna give Anna. What's up, Anna? Sorry, I accidentally unmute everybody. Anna, go on. Anna accidentally muted you. Why is nobody?
Oh, okay. Hello,
Yeah.
hello. I'm here.
Right, go on.
That's okay. No, I just wanted to quickly say it's like I don't even understand why we have to decide whether you're being cautiously optimistic but it's all semantics, and everyone has different personal approaches to things. Like some people, I'm a bit more, to the. I mean, I will say, I guess, optimistic, but very, very, very cautiously. So I don't think that means you're being negative and that you're not, believing that things can improve and whatever. Personally, me, I don't like to be disappointed. So if for me, for my own mental health, it's better to be like, maybe it doesn't mean anything, maybe it's a one-off, and then to be pleasantly surprised instead. So it doesn't mean anything, and I don't think anyone has to be one way or the other. I don't think it's important. For everyone has their own approach to these things, and it's silly to argue about it, honestly, in my opinion, because it's not a matter of facts one way or the other. It's a matter of how people personally feel and how it's more comfortable for them to feel themselves, rather than, because people can look at the same set of facts and feel differently about them, and that's fine. So that's it for now.
All right, cool. All right, thanks, Anna. What's that? Dex and then Charlie.
Hey, thanks for hosting again.
No
This
problem, man.
race was good to watch. The car is still twitchy, so it's progress. Good points for the team. I am curious about what happened to Norris because McLaren qualified well. Well, he qualified well, and then he ended up nowhere.
Because
They never had a real good race
because and
car.
plus,
It was just the elements that favored them
not only
yesterday.
that, the fact
The
that
car
he had
didn't
to
look
pit on
good.
the first lap pretty much just killed his race.
Tells you
It
the
pretty
car.
much killed his
Yeah,
race.
that's true though. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But then again, the car was not going to compete enough in the race. They don't have a good race car.
I mean, it's good over a lap, but
Yeah, a single
thereafter,
lap.
that's it.
Yeah, and all the elements aligned for him. He can get put it there, but on a normal racetrack, when it's really timed, I don't think that car doesn't have a balance to do it over race distance, basically.
Okay, cool. All right. Anything else on Dex?
Nah, I mean, I'm happy with this progress.
All
It's
right.
yeah.
Don't be like Jordan and say it's not progress. Thanks, mate. Charlie.
Didn't
Yeah,
say
hi,
that.
hi, fellas. Hope you guys are good.
We're good. What's up?
Yeah, as you know, watching this is one of the first races I've actually watched this season, and I think my biggest takeaway on this was how happy Lewis was in the car. I mean, I've only watched some highlights of races so far this year, and he's never been happy. Today, he definitely was, and he couldn't hide his enthusiasm.
Shakira is around. That's what I heard.
Yeah, no, tell them again, Charlie. Tell
Sorry,
them
repeat that
again.
again. I
You know,
think because your thing was cutting in and out. Didn't hear it properly. Repeat that again.
I said Shakira is around, so he's happy. That's what I
Dude,
heard.
hey, you're gonna stop that. You're gonna cause the timeline to explode. We're not doing that. Charlie, go on. Sorry, repeat what you're saying, Charlie, because that your thing's
yeah.
cutting in and out.
Am I cutting in and
Yeah, a
out?
little bit. Go on.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a distance away. That's probably why. But like I said, I think that's going to be the main takeaway. I understand some of the points that Jordan is making. And 3/10, I'm sure Thanos, you'll probably agree. 3/10 is a lot of time to make up. So let's not be in no illusion. Mercedes have still got a lot of work to do.
It was 7 times before, Charlie.
Oh,
Yeah, but
no, no, no,
your
But
no,
it's
first
Charlie,
taken.
don't
You
get
could
me
say
wrong.
it's taken them 2 years to close that 4 tenths, Kingsley. So there we
Yeah,
go.
Yeah, but
well, with one upgrade, with
well,
just one
they
can
upgrade.
close it up
They've
now.
just changed the
They
concept,
close.
for
It's a
goodness
can
new
I
sake.
just
concept, John. Chill
Well,
out,
well,
John.
well done to Mercedes today.
Hold on, dude.
P2, P3.
Hold on, Padare. Hold on. Let Charlie finish, and then I'll come to you. Go on, Charlie.
can I say I think the further you are away, the easier it is to make up ground. Yeah. But the closer you get, it's always those final tenths, 2/10 that are hard to get. There was one thing I did want to say is I was looking at the Monaco and I was looking at the underside of the Red Bull car that they've been developing for years. Yeah. So, let's not get ahead of ourselves. There is a lot of work still for Mercedes to do for them to get back to the front. And let's not get frustrated if things don't go the way we planned them. And finally, did anybody else notice? I think for the design of the Ferrari car has changed.
It's who?
the design on the Ferrari car, that bathtub
Yeah,
design.
they
Were they
changed the
using it today or
They
it's
brought
not?
upgrade.
yeah
They brought
they
upgrade.
changed
They
the
changed
side
it.
pod on the and part on the floor.
Oh, right. Because funny enough, I thought that car was really, really quick. It's just that the two guys that were
No, the
using
car is shit.
it, had
The
that.
The
upgrade is
car
rubbish.
the
It
car
doesn't
is
work.
shit. Fred Vasseur came out this week and said there's nothing wrong with the car. It's the drivers. So
Yeah, the drivers were
so
exaggerating
so
what the wrong. He basically just
he
threw the
basically
driver
said
under
the
the
driver.
car.
No, there's nothing wrong with the car. The problem is the drivers.
The drivers are
I mean,
shit. He said the drivers are not
this
good
is the
enough.
team that people
He
expect to
changed
win.
his
That
mind.
team's never gonna win anything.
Oh my god! He basically just threw the driver under the
That
F
team is
72 or
never
whatever the
going to
number is.
win anything because I bet you he's going to say what happened to Charles yesterday was Charles's fault, nothing to do with the car. So
Yeah.
yes,
At least we know now why Lewis will probably never ever join
Lewis never had
Ferrari.
Lewis
That
had
would
no
never really
intentions of
happen.
joining Ferrari.
It has
So
never, it was never going to happen. Yeah.
that's not going to happen. I mean, I stand more anyway. I stand more chance of dating
Yeah.
Shakira than Lewis going to
Oh,
Ferrari.
Oh,
I thought it was Beyonce.
just,
You've moved to Shakira now.
you're getting a bit ahead of
Why?
yourself
I'm
there.
just
Yeah,
saying.
you better get in
I'm
line.
just what?
Get in line, man, because I'm ahead of you. Listen, I'm glad to be back on the space, and I'll probably see you guys next time
All
out.
right, thanks,
a lot.
Charlie. Padari, you've got the mic now.
Yeah, I was just saying congratulations to our team. Today we did well. We did so well, but I know we've got a long way. We've chipped into something. They definitely did something right back in the garage this week. So I think if they continue chipping, I think we'll have a more perfect car in the next season. That's the as long as we continue at this pace and improving the car, I think we're in the right direction. Congratulations to everybody. Hippie hippie to all Hamilton supporters on the podium in Mercedes. Many thanks.
All right, cool. I think the goal for Mercedes for this year is if they can finish the season with a 3/10 gap to Red Bull, I think that in some ways for them they can view that as a bit of a successful season.
Yeah, Louis basically said it in the interview after the race that hopefully they can qualify on pole this year, go maybe win some races, and then next
It's
year
going to be hard.
they can
It's
really
going to
turn
be
up better.
hard because
Yeah, it's gonna be
it
hard.
depends.
Yeah, but at least if they can close it up to on a given day, qualify ahead of the Red Bull, then that tells you they're
Yeah,
making progress basically.
because
So,
the point the focus for them now is given they seem fairly confident that the package is infinitely better. So the
oh yeah,
focus now is
yeah,
about performance. It's no
performance.
longer
Yeah,
about fixing problems and
testing,
done.
upgrade,
It's
those
about
testing or
it's about
experiments. Yeah,
performance. So if they can add
yeah,
performance and coming from, we've seen Aston gain what 2 seconds in performance over
yeah.
from because Aston brought a brand new car to Spain last year. So from
Was it
yeah,
Spain?
they brought
Okay.
it was Spain. They unveiled the car, the Red Bull clone, Red Bull
Mm-hmm.
clone. So if they can gain 2 seconds over a 9 month, 1 year period, I'm not saying Mercedes are going to gain 2 seconds. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but there's scope there for them to.
There's lap time
There's
to
lap
find
time
with performance.
because
Yeah,
what you find
yeah,
it's similar to with the power units. They had the jump start on everybody, so their gains
yeah.
would be incremental, while those who started back would be making more bigger gains. So
Bigger
given
game.
it's
Yeah,
a new concept they're going towards, their gains should in theory be greater than those around them
yeah,
in theory.
yeah. I
But
agree.
again, it depends on how well they develop, and they don't take a step backwards. But let's see.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
see.
we've got the best man for the job now, innit? He's back now, innit? So, you know what I'm saying?
The best
Allison is
man
back
for the
now.
job. The best man for the job is that ambitionless, old, ball-headed dude that designed cars for Red Bull. He has no ambition because if he did, he would have signed up to design a car for Lewis Hamilton. I mean, come on! I keep telling you, Adrian Newey has no ambition. Why would you not want to design a car for Lewis Hamilton? You have no ambition.
Yeah.
He has no ambition. Anyway, um,
Yeah, but his career's 30 years
he
long
has no
now. Like, he's
ambition.
thinking about
Even then,
settling down on a beach.
but
He's not thinking about his career anymore.
Jordan, he should have from the first, even before Lewis was born, he should have had it in his head that I want to design a car for Lewis Hamilton. He has no ambition. He should have known.
The guy's a
I
millionaire.
don't
Though.
care.
Like,
He has
well,
no ambition.
probably even close
You're
to
not getting the
millionaire.
point. He has no ambition. He should have been. He should have been thinking about it before Lewis. Lewis was born. That I want to design a car for Lewis Hamilton because he didn't. He has no ambition. And my story. And I'm
Well,
sticking.
Thanos, come
No,
on. Like,
he
Joe
has
is
no
right.
ambition.
The man is old.
I don't care. He has no
The
ambition.
man is old.
He has no ambition. He should.
Well,
I'm sticking.
I mean, there comes a
No,
point
he has
in
no.
your life
And
where
Anna,
He
he has
does.
no ambition.
You guys should know Thanos is joking.
Anyway,
He's not. Doing
He's a dictator. He told you
he
before,
has
isn't
no.
it? Thanos?
Why you keep arguing with me? I said he has no ambition, and it's true. Trevor, what's up?
You're funny.
Hi everyone. Thanks for hosting. And today's result obviously was very, very encouraging. The race, however, could have went a different way. And I'm focusing on Gunther's comments that he made about the stewards, because on that very first corner with Max and Sites had to back out, otherwise Max and him would have crashed. Now the reason why that's significant is Yuki was penalized for far worse, and Verstappen got completely cleared, no penalties or anything else. So, stewarding of these final races, well, over the rest of the season, is going to be a problem. And now that it's happening, I think last week it was Deco, but now that it's happening more and more, I think, and maybe I can hear from everybody else, are more teams going to start saying something else out loud? Because Max clearly got away with, well, Yuki got a worse penalty than Max didn't get anything on that first thing.
Sorry, I kind of
They had,
go on.
they had the chance to say that, after Abu Dhabi, that Gunther Steiner or whatever, he was chatting shit after Abu Dhabi anyway, wasn't it? Wasn't he like saying, "Oh, the stewards did what they can, they did well"? So yeah, he gets what he
I'm
deserved this
noticing,
time.
have you not noticed? All the people who were silent, and when Abu Dhabi happened, they're starting to get they're starting to
Now
get their
they're crying.
payback. Things are starting to happen
Yeah.
to them now that they're starting to complain about. Gunther complaining about stewards. I just laugh because I'm like, I distinctly remember AD 21. He was pretty much like, yeah, whatever, they made a
He was
decision.
happy.
He didn't give a shit.
Exactly.
And now he's complaining
Didn't
about
care.
because
Yeah.
they gave you, because of, okay, cool. Go cry in your pillow. I don't care.
And Carlos Sainz get that penalty in Melbourne. Thanos, don't forget, he called it the worst penalty that he's ever seen in F1.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God,
come on,
that
dude.
was
You're not even
classic.
win a championship title, you idiot. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And today he was at it again. Today, wasn't it, when his race engineer was telling him, Lewis is fast. He's pulling a pace on you. He's like, oh no, don't worry, I've got it covered. My ass.
Because he said he had pace, but I think he had pace to go backwards. I think that's where his pace.
No, the race engineer actually told him, okay, you know what? Pick up the pace.
The
then.
best part about Carlos Sainz's race today was that he said, "Find me a way to beat Perez." I was like,
Perez.
"No, you're not gonna do that, dude. There is no way in hell your team's gonna find you a way to beat a Red Bull. Because even if it existed, there's no way Ferrari could have found it.
All right, cool.
There's absolutely no way."
Oliver T, what's up?
Nothing much, man. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Just
Okay.
checking.
Guys, I got my own theory here. I was looking at like the tire strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Because I looked at Red Bull. Red Bull started medium, hard, then soft, right?
Yeah.
That's for Max. And they had a 24-second gap, right?
I think
Mercedes went from...
Wasn't it the same for Perez as well? It's the same for Perez.
It's the same for Perez,
Yeah.
right? Then Mercedes went soft, medium, then soft,
Mm-hmm.
right? The two softs are fast tires, right?
Yes.
But Red Bull had a hard tire, which is a slower tire in between.
Yes.
And it was pulling away. So having a difference of 0.3, I don't think it's accurate. I'll put it at 0.5 because I'm considering the difference in pace. Because when you look at qualifying and when they did their long runs or on the previous 2 days, I looked at how that medium was outpacing the hard and how that soft was outpacing the hard. So I would say the gap, we shouldn't be talking of the 0.3. We are talking 0.5, 0.6. That's from my own thinking. The gap is too big. If these guys had the same tire strategy, I would think the gap would have gone maybe to 30 seconds.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, no,
I don't think so.
that's not correct at all. Okay, so first of all, look at the weekend you're talking about. that car they were struggling to put it on balance, first of all. And you don't know the fuel level that Red Bull were running compared to Mercedes. You can argue it was around the same, but that's not representative. What you will look at is today's race. So when they were on similar tire, for example, soft to soft, you can see that they were pulling exact same lap time. In fact, Mars was actually complaining on the hard. I'm actually glad Mercedes didn't use the hard at all. Mars said his hard was hitting up, he was sliding around, and they had to finally just bring him because when he changed to hard, Lewis actually thought Max was going for a one stopper. You could hear Max complaining about that tire. He was running free air
Yeah,
and he was having
but
a problem with that tire. And then
but
finally,
when he
that's a
was on the
victory.
hard, when Max was on the hard, he was pulling away from Lewis.
No, no, he wasn't. So look at it this way: when Lewis pitted first to medium, Mans then pitted for hard. Now,
Hard.
yes, Lewis has already done some lap with his medium. If you follow Lewis is on board and you're looking at the lap time, the difference between Mans and Lewis 0.1, 0.2, Mans go faster 0.2, Lewis come back faster 0.1. It will basically trading time. You can argue that the medium is supposed to be faster than the hard, but I believe Lewis was actually managing the pace because when George Russell pitted for his own medium, he put a 1 second on Perez. And I was thinking here, look, this guy can't go further if he's running at this pace. I think his race engineer had to tell him to calm down a bit and then, do. So I don't think what you're saying is actually accurate because if you look at it
But
tire for tire, they were
I'll
matching each
put
other
it.
basically. Yeah.
I'll put it on a control, but I would argue that the distance, it's more than 0.3. That's
Mercedes,
my score of
okay,
thought.
yeah, Mercedes
Because
is
if we
saying
are to
it's
put
data that he had.
one thing, okay, here's what I'm saying. Let's wait for a day they will have the same tire strategy. Then
Okay,
we
look
can
at
now
it.
be able to call the gap.
Look at it
Same
this way.
tire strategy, and then we see who has got the bigger gap. What
Mercedes,
that
who had the data, is saying that they actually think it's 15 seconds, which comes down to 0.3. That's what they're saying. They have the data.
0.2.
They're looking at it.
Guys, I believe the Red Bull has got something hidden. We'll see as the season progresses.
Well,
But the
but
Red
as
Bull,
Kings,
I think it's way too
but as
fast.
Kingsley you mentioned earlier, the true test is when they went for fastest lap. Max did a 16 what?
That was the
Max
Yes.
did a
baseline, yes.
16.3. Lewis did a 16.6.
Six, yes, that
And
was
they
the
were both
baseline
on
because
the
that's
same.
optimal power, the fastest you can go on the same tire, and it was 3 tenths the difference.
And if you go and even if you go back to qualifying, had Lewis done the lap he should have done, the gap, I think the gap to him and
That
Max
would
would have
still be around the same
still have
gap, yes.
been around the same 3 tenths of a second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But again,
Okay.
we could be wrong. But if Toto is saying
Oh, yeah, we
if
could be
Toto is
wrong. We don't
saying
have all the data. It's just
they think
registration, yes.
the 24 seconds is pretty much not a
An
true a
outlier,
true
yeah.
representation,
Yeah.
then. But again,
I believe
it's
them
going to
too.
vary
Yeah.
from track to track.
Of course.
So we don't know. But hopefully,
Okay.
but like, but as I said, I think for them the goal is to get to the end of the season and have the gap within a very manageable. So if they can get it within 3 tenths by the end of the season, I think for them
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
big positive because
That's good enough.
when you
Yeah.
consider where
Yeah.
they're coming from, it's because
Oh God, it
because
was depressing.
let's be
Yeah.
honest, people say they're the fourth best car in the grid. They're not. They never were. I think they were still the second best car in the grid, despite the Aston
Oh,
Martin. Yes,
Mercedes.
I think they were better. They're still a better car than the Aston. They just died. For them, it's a slow burner. I definitely.
I think
do
that's
you
more
mean
than
the beginning of
cautious
the
optimism
season or
saying
right
that
now?
they're definitely the second best
I
car at the
definitely
moment.
think they're better than the
Yeah.
Ferrari. I've always said that they've leapfrogged Ferrari.
Well, yeah,
They've leapfrogged Ferrari.
that is very
And
clear,
I think
to be honest.
had Mercedes not been having the issues they have been having, Ferrari would have been the laughing stock of the grid right now.
Yeah,
Because that
absolutely.
car is absolute shit. It looks good over a lap. That's all it has.
They could as well just bring last year's car here. There was no need to change it. Just bring last year's car. They will be performing better
if
than
they
this.
bring last year's car here, they'd be worse off because all the cars are better than last year's car.
Okay, but check the pole position for Sainz and for Leclerc last year here compared to
Yeah,
what.
but that car was doing lap times that were over 1 second slower than this year. So
Yeah,
saying that doesn't make
this
any
year there's
sense.
no progress on this car.
All teams have progressed.
Yeah,
just
you
some
bring
have progressed
you
less
bring
than
you
others.
bring the last, what is it, whatever it is this year, the current spec car is still quicker than it.
Okay, look at Monaco. Look at it this way. Monaco last year, chassis port lap is actually faster than what Max did this year.
Max choked Monaco. I told you.
And then
We're not
the capital
we're not gonna go
higher.
we're not gonna go Monaco because I already tell you Max fucked up Monaco. He should.
I'm not arguing about the choking. We can disagree on that. But if he had that car, probably he would qualify higher than where he
But
finished.
overall, the Mercedes I think is the second best car in the grid. They just had issues that they needed to work out, and I think once they got that worked out, they're going. I genuinely think they're going to leap. I think this is again cautiously optimistic. Actually, fuck it, I'm not going to be cautiously optimistic. I'm gonna be somewhat positive that they're going to move forward now. They're going to move. They're going to start stretching the legs against Aston and Ferrari.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because George started behind both Alonso and Stroll, and he finished a pit stop ahead of both of them.
Yes.
He overtook both of them on track. It's not like he passed them in the pits. He overtook them both on track and drove away from them.
On track, yeah.
Sainz got overtaken on track by both Mercedes, and they drove away from
both Mercedes, I'm driving away from them.
So.
But Thanos, would you not say that the time to be like super positive is when they start to make significant progress towards Red Bull? Because
they have made progress towards Red Bull.
No, but let me finish my point. When Mercedes they have, but I mean make serious progress towards Red Bull to the point where they start to challenge them. Because if we look at like when Mercedes were on top, and then you have Red Bull and Ferrari always behind. For several seasons, they just traded places with each other. 1 year, Red Bull would have a better car than Ferrari. Next year, Ferrari had a better car than Red Bull. It just swapped around. But those two teams never got anywhere closer to Mercedes, beating Mercedes. I think the time when we should all be jovial is when they actually they join the pack with Red Bull and we start off the season with Red Bull. Until then, there's no guarantees of anything.
Jordan,
because out-developing Aston Martin is a very different prospect to out-developing the best team on the grid at the moment.
Jordan, there's a saying that goes, be grateful for small mercies. So,
I don't believe in that saying. I think we need to win it all, or there's no point.
Okay, all right.
We're racing to win, not
no one says that's not the goal. But my point is, I'm still can be happy and celebrate because given where they're coming from, right, to where they are now,
this is massive progress. I don't care what Jordan says.
You can't only judge progress by if they win. You have to look
when they are ahead of Red Bull.
But when you say where they've come from, they were the second fastest team last year. So what's actually happened?
Yes.
The second fastest team, they fell behind two other teams, and now they've got back to
They were the second. They finished third in the championship.
So they're basically back to where they were at the end of last year.
They finished third in the championship last year.
Yeah, but they were the second fastest team.
They were the
entire year.
Come on, the Ferrari couldn't even get on the podium at the end of the year. It was the second fastest car at the end of 2022.
You are not using the half of the year. Throughout the year, they didn't have a second fastest car. You can't just use the last part of the year to judge the entire year.
Yes, you can, because that's the development path they've come
over the full year. You are judging. If they were the second fastest car, they will be finishing in P2 in the constructor. They didn't.
So Jordan.
Well, no.
So Jordan,
are you?
Hold on. Based on your logic, so then you're saying the Mercedes in 2021 was the quickest car over the year?
No, I don't. But I don't think the Mercedes was the fastest car at the end of 2021. It's just massively regressed. No, I think that was all on the driver. I think
come on, don't do that. You're just
arguing.
Anyway, I think come on. But they didn't bring any upgrades. Okay. The Red Bull completely destroyed us in Austin. The only difference in those last four races was they bought a new engine, but ultimately Max Verstappen started driving
they completely
poorly. He got jitters on the finish line.
We mean they completely destroyed them in Austin in 2021. We're talking about. What was the winning margin in Austin?
Well, we all expected to win in Austin.
Yeah, but what?
And they did not, because Red Bull had more pace.
No, that's not why they didn't win in Austin.
I think we're going back.
Well, your argument is they had to change the compliance of the car due to the bumps, but that's ultimately a part of the car. So you can't say that they were quicker than Red Bull. It's, they had to
No,
change
but
the
you,
ride.
no,
They had to
no.
change
My
the ride
point
for a
is,
reason,
you
because
said
the car
no.
was
My
not as good
point
as
is,
Red
you
Bull at
said
riding the bumps.
you said they were absolutely destroyed in quarter in 2021. That's
Well,
not
that was
true.
the wrong word. We lost to a faster car in us.
What?
So, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but you think the Mercedes was a faster car at the end of the year?
No,
That's
no.
you're
You
basically
said
siding
you.
with Max
you
fans.
anyway,
At the end of the year, the only difference
anyway,
was
because
Lewis was the far better driver than Max Verstappen. That's the only difference at the end of 2021.
This is a fruit. This is a fruitless. This is a fruitless.
Well, I mean,
Because
this is 2 years ago.
your thing is it's either on or it's off. There's no in between for you. So I don't think we can actually have a objective debate because you're constant.
And that is the reality of
it's
winning a championship.
No, we can't have an
You either win a championship or you do not.
Duh, obviously that's the point. But your view of everything is it's either on or it's off. There's no in between for you. You don't view anything other than winning as progress.
No, I never said they haven't made progress.
No, you pretty much dismissed it.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you
I have
have.
not. I have not said
Anyway,
anywhere today
let's
that
move
we
on.
haven't made progress. No, I haven't.
Let's move on. Sean, where did Kingsley drop out?
I think Anthony wanted to speak. Is he still
I don't know.
there? It was
Kingsley.
before me.
Kingsley's back. He dropped out. Go on, Sean.
Oh, no, I thought Anthony was ahead of me, but looks like he's gone away anyways. Maybe you upset him or something?
No, he dropped out. I just put him back in. Go on, you have the floor.
Yeah, no, just looking forward. You question to Jordan then. What would make you happy in the next 5 races? What would you call? What would make you think the team is back in the next 5 races? Just
well,
a matter of
if Thanos is correct that this is now the second fastest car, it should finish second in every single one of those races. So that's what I expect. Otherwise,
okay,
I've been correct. So the progress.
Because it's the second.
You guys are making up today.
So because it's the second fastest car, it should finish second in every race. Ferrari was
well. I mean, in theory, it should finish third,
logic
right?
makes no
sense. But Perez is not a very good driver, so in theory,
that logic makes no sense. But carry on.
It does look like we can rest Perez now from the outside.
Hang on. So you're saying if the Mercedes is the clear second fastest car, it should not finish third.
Should not what?
Finish third.
Third where?
If Red Bull's the fastest car, you have Verstappen, then you have Perez, then you have Hamilton and Russell after. If it is the second fastest car.
But, it's not always going to happen that way. Look at Perez today.
It should happen that way, though, shouldn't it? Because Red Bull has the fastest car and they win every race.
You're the guy who just said you deal with realism, and you're going to say should based on something that you can't predict.
Well, they should. Yes, should is the operative word.
No, but
I mean, there are factors that can throw it out, and you will account for those factors at the time they happen. But I don't understand the argument here. You're saying that the second fastest car should not finish third in every race.
Because that's
like,
because that's not how it works. Perez is in the best car in the grid. He should finish second every race. He doesn't.
Yeah, even that. Talking about Perez, did you not see George Russell was progressing quicker in terms of overtaking people and moving up the ladder than Perez was doing at some point? So it's not all about the fastest car, is it really? Yes, we do need the car to be quick. I think it's quick. I am more, I don't know, I am more, maybe more positive than all you lot. I think the guys are back.
No, I'm positive. The negative one here is Jordan has never, he just, everything is, it's either.
The negative Nancy.
But then again, he's a software engineer, so he deals with binary. It's either zeros and ones. There's no hard.
Maybe it's to do with his job.
But hold on, guys. Like both opinions have merit. Jordan is coming from results, and Thanos is coming from progress. And unless they can objectively state what their expectations are, they will never find alignment, right?
Jordan thing is,
but we are
just get kicked.
Jordan thing is, unless they're winning, they've not made any progress for him.
No. I disagree. I think they have made progress. I mean, they've clearly made progress, right? Because, as I said, they appear to have at least got more competitive with Aston Martin based on what we've seen. but we have to be optimistic on that point, I think.
But you said you
rather
don't
than,
deal with
you know,
optimism, so why are you telling us to
no,
be
no,
optimistic?
I'm saying if you want to believe that, you have to be optimistic.
But
Because we haven't
believe
seen
what?
we haven't
Believe
got a
what?
big enough sample yet.
Believe what? Believe what?
Believe that Mercedes are now more competitive or ahead of Aston Martin. When we've had a bigger sample size, I think, you know, there's merits to that point. But going back to what we were saying anyway, I don't understand your argument that if it's not the clear second fastest car, it shouldn't be finishing on the podium every week. That makes no sense to me.
But Perez is in the clear fastest car on the grid, and he doesn't finish on the podium every week. So the
Yeah, but it's Perez. It's not Lewis Hamilton, is it?
It doesn't.
It's Perez.
Lewis was driving the W11, and he didn't finish on the podium every race.
Yeah, and there are a few factors, like I said, you have to.
Okay,
account.
so your argument saying because if they're the clear second fastest, they should finish on the podium every race. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
Should. The key word being should.
Anyway, let me move on. Clinton.
Thank you very much, Thanos. Look, I kind of fall in between both of you, no surprise. Has Mercedes made progress this week? Most definitely, if we look at Thursday compared to today. But the reality is Red Bull still finished
Friday.
20 seconds. Friday. Yeah. Red Bull still finished 20 seconds ahead of Mercedes, and that's despite all of these upgrades. So, it's not been great. Yes, it's fantastic that Mercedes got a second and third, but Perez, did a pretty good showing as well. I mean, he started in the back of the pack. He had a disaster qualifying session. Everybody knows that. He kind of sliced his way through the field. And, it's great that Lewis and George finished ahead of Perez. But I think if it had been a longer track or if Perez hadn't screwed up in qualifying, he probably would have finished in second behind Verstappen. And I think that's just the reality. And I think it's pretty clear that Red Bull's going to win this championship this year unless, something disastrous happens to the Red Bull team. And I'm not even sure, quite frankly, how great the Mercedes performance is vis-a-vis Aston Martin in this race, because I'm not sure Aston Martin had a very good setup. We saw a lot of weird tire changes, pit stops coming in for Aston Martin. It didn't look like the car was set up right. If we looked at Alonso's performance compared to Lance Stroll, it looks like Lance's car, maybe Lance had a better setup for some reason. But was it nice to see Mercedes competitive? Yes. But I still think that this season has been a failure for Mercedes. And the reason I say that is because they are not the clear front runner in every race, or like after Red Bull. Like Ferrari is kind of still there. Aston Martin is there. Alpine has, put on some good performances. So I think Mercedes still needs to step it up.
I'm kind of scratching my head because I'm a bit confused. Why is it Mercedes' performance was good today, and we're looking for excuses why Aston wasn't as good? Why do you think?
Well,
they were?
I think the tire strategy.
Why you think?
I mean, first of all, let's be clear.
But the tires. But
it was very clear.
We
heard. Hold on. We heard Lewis say early on in the race, like around the 20 lap mark, that his soft tires were holding out just fine. And then we heard Lewis say the same thing again around the 24, 25 lap mark. And so, look, I'm happy that Mercedes got second and third. I'm just not sure that today is representative of what the rest of the season is going to look like. That's all.
But why are you caveating Mercedes' performance with how Aston performed?
Well, I think it was pretty clear from what we saw in qualifying where Alonso wasn't even getting into when we looked at the testing on Friday, Alonso didn't look particularly good, and then in qualifying, he didn't look very good. So, I do think Alonso had a bad weekend. Now, whether that was purely mistakes on his part as a driver or a combination of the setup that Aston Martin had, but I don't think this was representative of Aston Martin. And I think the reason for that is because Lance Stroll outperformed Alonso in the testing and qualifying sessions. And we all know that that's unlikely to happen regularly. Like, Alonso is a superior driver to Lance. So
Okay, but disregard that. Mercedes showed him a clear pair of heels today.
sorry, say that again, Tano. Sorry, I missed your question.
Mercedes showed him a clear pair of heels today. Mercedes literally just turned up. They were better than them the entire weekend.
Yeah, look.
So
I think Mercedes obviously spent a lot of time with the setup of the car, and even on the Mercedes side, like, we saw how shaky George was in testing and qualifying, and Lewis was in a different league of his own. And then as we got to race day, George somehow was able to kind of find the right setup for the car, because he looked completely different today than he did yesterday or the day before.
But it's the same setup that he used yesterday. He used today.
Do we know that for certain, that they kept everything the same?
Yes, because you can't change once you enter qualifying. That's the car you have to race. You can't do anything with it other than change wing angles, and that's
well, no,
as far
but they
as
can
you
make
do.
changes in Q1 and Q2. It's Q3 where
Parts
No, they
firming.
can't. No, they can't. They can't. Once the green flag light goes in qualifying, that's it. The car is in park firming. How you leave the pits is how you're going to race the remainder of the weekend.
Okay, then I'm wrong. I'll admit that I'm wrong. I can admit it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Right. No, it's cool. It's cool.
Listen, I love these
fine.
spaces. I can admit that I'm
It's
wrong.
fine.
But he does raise an interesting question. Merck has changed their
Which is?
approach to the weekends. When
How?
Mike Elliott was doing the on-site stuff, it felt really like chaotic. They were trying different things. This weekend, you had two different approaches tried on Friday, and then on Saturday morning, they didn't get to do much testing, but they converged. They picked the better one. It looked
But
more
that's what
data driven.
but that's not. But they're always data driven. But that's what they do in every practice session. Every practice, they run two different various setups, and then Friday night they sit down, put their heads together, and come up with the best solution for the rest of the weekend. It's nothing different. They've not changed. The only thing
I don't
that's
know.
changed is
This
they brought.
weekend it looked different though. Not to cut you off, right? Sorry, but it looked different because with whole of last year, well, we know whole of last year was just chaos and experimentation, right? And then the beginning of this year, it looked like it didn't look like they were converging. It looked like they were still searching. You know?
Well, to be fair, though, a lot of last year we had Lewis running different setups on purpose, even in the races, to try and figure out what was going on, which is probably why they didn't converge as much. But it seems this year that they do make a lot of progress on Friday night in the simulator, which is, I mean, in the past that hasn't happened, so that's a positive thing. But it does mean that you can't read anything into Fridays, but everyone always gets carried away on Friday. I think the pattern is clear that on Friday they do a lot of running to themselves and run their own programs, so you can never read into that, really.
Oh, wow, you said that? No. Okay, cool. Interesting.
You're confusing me for Ben, I reckon.
Interesting. Lauren, what's up?
I'm
I
gonna
know you're coming for Jordan, and I'm ready.
Not
for
at all. Listen, Jordan can feel how he feels. Like, I'm not gonna argue with him about his feelings. All I'm gonna say is this: I'm gonna celebrate the P2 because at the end of the day, like he said, it may go to shit next race, or it might not. We don't know. So I'm not gonna bitch away the one little podium we get. Like, sometimes just take the moment for what it is. We'll deal with next race
small
and
victory, small mercies.
Yeah, because we can either be completely miserable for the foreseeable future, or sometimes you just got to take the little moments as they come. We don't know when
Yep.
we might get another one. And also, like, we all know that they're not up to Red Bull standards. Every time you lot come in and say that, you're not stating something that we can't see. We know that that's the goal. We know that that's the aim. We know that they're not there yet. We know they have work to do. But like people keep telling us, Aston Martin, they were a customer team. Like, okay, if they are confidently out racing Aston Martin, and I agree. I don't think one race you can confidently say Aston Martin are cleared. No. But if we can at least say, okay, second car comfortably, now we can chase the Red Bulls. We can't really have that conversation if next race we're now behind both the Aston Martins. Because then it gets cloudy again. Like, yeah, we're making progress, but they're still in the way. So, like, for me, I'm gonna celebrate the P2. I also just want to say one more thing. When both Aston Martins have a good race, you lot don't say it's because Mercedes had a bad one. But Mercedes have a good race, and it's 54 reasons why. Like, keep bringing
Why
it.
Aston was
Look at
bad?
it. Look at
Why Aston was
look at
bad?
it this way. The team is optimistic. Lewis is optimistic. Everyone is optimistic. The who are win not to be. If you are going to pour rain on this parade, that's fine. But I can see, at least for the first time in a long time, Lewis actually believed that the car is making progress. I think that's enough for me to believe too.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, for me, the barometer is what Lewis says. Granted, he did say something stupid on Friday, which he eventually took back. But Lewis is the barometer. The barometer?
Yeah, it's the barometer. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah.
He's the barometer for me. In Monaco, he said that the car felt different. It felt
He
good.
could push
He
it.
can lean
Yeah,
on it more. And that's the key. If Lewis says he can lean on the car more,
you
that
can take
tells
that
you
to the bank.
they've
Yeah.
made progress.
Yeah.
And we saw that yesterday. Normally he would have been happy with where he
Yeah.
qualified. He looked genuinely disappointed
Yeah.
because he felt like
There
he
was
had
more.
more,
Yeah.
and he left at least 2 tenths
On
on the
table. Yeah.
table because of that qualifier. And you watch his onboards, you don't see
The car
the
fidgeting here and there.
same
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
The car is
You
strong.
don't think, oh, this is gonna kill him. You don't look at the car and think, oh, please God, don't kill him. Just bring him home safely. He looks more comfortable.
Absolutely.
He's breaking his back. He's now, he can push it to the edge, and that's a sign of progress. And that's because if he can do that, then he can extract time from it,
Yeah.
and that's good. So there's progress
There is
there.
absolute progress.
From
That is
once
good
he's
to hear.
from once he's happy and he's saying all of these things, then that's all that
That's all that
matters for
matters.
me.
Yeah. Whatever
That's
is
all that
relevant.
matters.
Yeah.
So it's here's hoping for onwards and upwards. All right, I've just let some people in. Who is it? Oh, this dude always phone. I've never heard him speak before. It's first time he's in here. GK2, what's up? Not you. I didn't mean you.
Hey guys, how much of
Yeah, what's up?
the changes with Lewis's performance do you think is due to the driver position being moved?
It has
Can hear you.
the driver. It hasn't been moved. It's still the same.
I thought that was where an upgrade involved, that they slightly moved Lewis's position back.
They can't require a brand new chassis. What they've done is brought new for suspension and bodywork.
Gotcha.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, all right, then cool. Where's he dropped off? Okay. Who else wants the floor?
Oh, quick point. Why is it that
Oh, go on, this.
why is it that Horner always gets upset when he's around Mercedes people? And I know the answer, but had to ask. Because when Sky Sports interviewed him and Nico Rosberg's backside asked him a question about Perez, he starts saying to Nico Rosberg, well, you're being too critical now that you're not racing. You're saying harsh words on everyone. I mean, I don't like Nico, but the man reaction was hilarious.
Let's be honest. The only team Red Bull fear is Mercedes. It's obvious. They've dismissed Ferrari as a threat last year, and they dismissed them this year as a joke. The only team they fear is Mercedes. pretty much that simple. Because if you listen to Helmut, I mean, they're winning everything, but they can't keep Mercedes and Lewis's name out their mouth. Like, why
Yeah,
are you
actually,
worried about?
Thanos, you're
Right.
right about that. You are right about that because I think I saw a video clip with Christian Horner at one point during the early parts of qualifying where he said the only one that he feared or he thought would be able to give Red Bull a run for their money was Lewis.
Yes, I saw that.
Specifically Lewis.
You're right.
Of course, but he knows that. And that's the problem, and that's the thing. And that's why we need Mercedes back up the front because they have a driver pairing that would give Max help. They have the driver pairing that would give him help, and he knows it. They all know it.
Yeah, because
So,
also Perez is weak. He's bad, so I don't know.
Perez is a bum. Perez is a
He
bum.
would be,
I
but
mean,
he would really be no help. Because I don't think
exactly.
he can rely on Max. Max can't really rely on him like that.
I mean, how do you qualify? How you didn't miss Q3 twice back-to-back races driving that? And I said, if that was Bottas, Jesus, Bottas never missed a Q3 session
Never.
in what,
Yeah.
5 years at
Yeah,
Mercedes?
didn't.
But they went after. He's weak. He's that. And Helmut came out. The qualifying yesterday and said Perez need to. Max don't see him as a threat. He just needs Perez just stop thinking about the championship and think about races. Like that's your boss. That's your boss in that to the entire world. He's basically telling you you ain't shit to the entire world. So Formula One, was 15 or I can't remember what it was. They said Horner came out and said something needs to be done to save Formula One. I know the only thing I can save Formula is Lewis and Mercedes. If they don't get up to the front, it's just pretty much that's it. Anyway, who's see what's up?
Yeah, I'm sorry if it's a little bit noisy. I'm buying groceries here in Dominican Republic. So yeah, I think that it was actually good progress that Merck did this weekend. It was positive that for once, Total outlined that they are now chasing performance. If you remember last year, every single race, one after the other, they were trying to know why the car behaved like it did. Now they know after one qualifying session to the other, or after one practice to the other, they knew what the car had, and that was why they were able to fix it for qualifying. So I think that's positive. And uh, Horner was in the record saying that they know that Merck will chase them down, or will make them feel pressure towards the second half of the season. So I actually think that this car probably will not, by the end of the season, will not have a gap of 20 seconds to Red Bull. And I think that probably next year we are going to have a battle between the two Red Bulls and the two Mercs, and or the one Red Bull and the two Mercs, because I don't know what the heck is going on with Perez at this moment. And if we look at the times that Merck did today and the times that Aston used to do, granted that, or if Aston wouldn't have a bad weekend, I think we would have a battle between Aston Martin and Mercedes, where Mercedes could have won that battle. That's gonna be.
But hold on. But are we sure Arsenal had a bad weekend because they did something wrong, or this is basically why can't it be that actually Mercedes genuinely made a progress
No,
that
no, no, no. I
leapfrogged
mean,
them to the top?
they actually made a really good progress. What I'm saying is that with this
Well, I
progress
think the
that
reason
Mercedes
they did
made,
that is because Alonso clearly had difficulties
Dude, let
throughout
him
the race.
finish.
Why are you interrupting?
What difficulties did? Let him finish. Let him finish.
sorry. Okay,
Come on.
so
Clearly
yeah, I
had
mean,
Dude, let him finish, Clinton. Let him finish. He hasn't got finished his point yet. Let him finish.
so
Go on, please.
I do know that Mercedes did an awesome progress this weekend. What I'm saying is that if we look at the times that the gap that Aston used like regularly has between the Red Bull, we know that with this progress that Mercedes did, they would have won. I mean, it would have been a 2-3 between uh, Alonso and Hamilton being the P2, or just Mercedes being too cheap by themselves. So yeah,
But
it's awesome progress for the
both
DTM car.
both Aston got passed on track by both Mercedes. So I don't know why we're saying, you know, Aston had a problem this based on what? I mean, the only thing we saw them did yesterday was Alonso decided to go gravel tracking, and I think he damaged the underside of his floor in qualifying, but he still made it to Q3. Why are we saying their performance this
Yeah,
today
but
was because they had a bad they've got some issue with the car? They brought upgrades to their car as well this week. I just saw an interview with even Carlos Sainz was saying he's saying this was probably the worst race to bring the upgrades to.
Well, like I said, I think actually it's probably more likely to be a case of the fact that the track just doesn't suit Aston because the way they've built their car, which is that it's got a lot of drag. Probably got the most drag on the grid.
Yeah, but
which is the reason
this
why
track
it doesn't
only had
suit
one
Barcelona
straight.
at
There is
all.
no place where the
But
drag was
no,
the
come on.
problem here.
This track is the ultimate test of downforce to drag ratio. That's just how it is known.
But hold on.
If you build a car, you build it for Barcelona because it has the best overall characteristic across the whole lap, representing aerodynamic efficiency
So hold
over
on.
dirty downforce.
So if your car works in Barcelona, then it should work everywhere. Is that what you say?
Yeah, that doesn't really apply anymore because Formula One's added so many stupid Mickey Mouse tracks
But why
to
doesn't
the calendar.
why doesn't
but
why does
generally the teams still build the race car to Barcelona because if we talk about what is considered to be an efficient race car, Spain still represents the best overall
so if
philosophy of that.
So then if your car works in Spain, then it should work everywhere
No,
else.
no, but like I said, that's not necessarily true anymore because the Mickey Mouse tracks that we have.
Which Mickey Mouse tracks? Because
all the street circuits, Miami, Baku, all
but those were before. So all the tracks were going to after
no,
now.
But this saying goes back 20, 30 years. Like,
No, they're still saying it today.
When all the tracks were just race tracks.
They are
and
still
not
saying
fake
it
tracks.
today that your car, if your car work in Spain,
Yeah, they still
it
say it,
work.
but it's not
But
true.
you're just
in my
saying it's
opinion
30 years
anymore.
ago. It's not 30 years ago. It's still working.
But what makes your opinion trumps that? Because I mean,
what I'm saying is that part is
reason.
irrelevant, right? That's just
There's
semantics.
a reason
It doesn't
why
matter.
most
What
of
I'm
the
saying
team
is the team still
brings their upgrade
the team
to
still build their
Barcelona
car
because
for Barcelona.
the track suits. That's where you test all of your components.
no one builds their car for Barcelona. You build a car that's supposed to work at every single track.
Yes.
But Barcelona so happy because
no, that's
because
not true.
what do you
Did
mean?
Mercedes,
No, that's not true.
Did Mercedes focus when they were winning on building a car that would dominate Monaco? No, they didn't.
Mercedes built.
The philosophy is to build the most, generate the most downforce in the most efficient way possible. Because that's always just going to make you the fastest team.
No, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. The philosophy is you build a car that should work at every single track, not just specific track. You're talking nonsense. Yes.
No,
yes,
don't.
you would. What? What do you mean? No, you don't. Why would you?
If you were
not build
tasked
a
with
track to
building
work-
a car specifically for the Monaco Grand Prix, you would not care about drag whatsoever. You just pile on the downforce. You'd build an absolute
Wait,
downforce
guys,
monster.
Stop.
That don't-
You,
but that
you
don't
build a
make any
car.
sense.
Hold on, guys, stop. You
that
build a
works
car to run on
you
every track, but you know that it may not be the best on every track. And we all know that Monaco, you have to bring Monaco specific parts, but they're all supposed to run on every single track, but they may not be the best on every single track.
Monaco, and you can't use Monaco as an example because Monaco is the most outlier track on the whole entire calendar. It's no one what?
But let's just put this down to basic terms, right? The best aerodynamics is the most downforce in the least amount of drag. So that's just the least amount of drag. That's just a fact. Barcelona represents that better than Monaco. So you can't use Monaco to read the performance of aerodynamics unless you're building a car.
But you're the one using Monaco as an example. I said to you, if you're building a car, you want to build the fastest car and also a car that works at every single track.
And the way to do that is to maximize your downforce efficiency ratio in theory. Which Spain represents well as a racetrack. So Spain is a great read of aerodynamic efficiency, which is why the Aston Martin was never going to do well here because it's got a lot of
That
track.
is not true because everybody,
That's not
most of the
true.
analysts,
What do you mean it's
hold
not
on,
true?
most of the
It is
analysts
true.
actually thought
Jordan, you're
this
talking
was
bullshit.
a track
You're talking
where
bullshit.
Fernando can actually beat the Red Bull because the way the
Jordan,
Aston
you're
is
talking
set up.
bullshit.
Well, that's probably hopium.
It's not
because
hopium. You don't know
Jordan,
better than
Jordan,
the
if
you're
you
experts.
talking
actually look,
bullshit.
if you actually,
Jordan,
if
You don't
if,
know
you're
more
talking,
than the
look,
Jordan,
experts.
you're talking bullshit.
most of these
Jordan,
journalists don't know
you're
anything.
talking.
You're
They're
just
You're
talking
useless.
shit.
talking.
You don't know more than
Even
the
the
experts.
journalists.
Everybody said
Jordan,
that.
Jordan, you're talking bullshit, and your argument is your argument is bullshit, and
It is
you
absolute
fail
nonsense
to
because
even see.
every
Yeah, you're
expert,
not saying
see
why it's
that
on
you're
bullshit. You're just
Friday,
saying it's
talking
even on
bullshit.
Friday,
You haven't provided a reason why it's wrong.
Yes, your argument is bullshit.
Are
because
you
no
saying
one
that the Aston
because
Martin is more aerodynamically efficient than the
yes,
Mercedes?
yes, because
No,
coming
it
to this
isn't. No, it isn't.
racetrack,
It has more
hold on,
downforce than compared to the ratio of drag.
after Monaco, coming to this racetrack, every expert that you know actually believe this was a racetrack that would suit Aston Martin. In fact, on Friday, they were actually saying that Red Bull
Well,
are afraid that their car will not even walk well here because they think the downforce of
and
the Aston Martin is going to beat them here. Now you're coming here to say no.
now where are those
that was
experts though? Because I was right and they were wrong.
of
So
course,
they're not
after
actually
the fact,
experts, are they?
you are right
A lot
after
of the
the fact.
journalists
Jordan,
talk
No, you're
shite.
right after the fact.
dude,
What were you saying on Friday?
you just want to blow smoke up your ass by thinking you're
Yeah,
smarter
2020 is
than everybody else. That's
hindsight
far
is
as I see.
2020.
No.
Cut the
I'm
bullshit.
just
Cut the
making a simple
bullshit.
point here. It was
No,
well known
your point
beforehand
is
that Aston Martin
no.
If we were
has a lot of
having this
drag. This
space
is
on
not
Friday, you
a
would be
secret.
saying this different thing that Aston Martin will do over here. You can look back now and say, okay, that was they didn't have aerodynamic
Well, I
efficiency.
did not
Jordan,
expect them to do so
dude,
badly, but I did
you
not
just want.
expect them to do so well either.
He's just rambling
I
here.
pinned, I actually pinned Aston Martin down to beat Red Bull in Monaco. I was wrong about that, but they got very close. And the reason why I did is because, like I said, they got a downforce monster of a car where they got a lot of dirty downforce.
You're just contradicting
So that
yourself
it
now.
makes sense in the opposite that they do very badly. Well, they wouldn't do very badly. I didn't expect it to be this bad, but they do worse in Spain because they'd be caught out on the straights. And look, it's proven to be right in both cases.
But hold on.
So I don't know who these
This is just
experts
nonsense.
you talk
But
about
hold on.
are.
But hold on. So you're the expert then, Jordan.
Well, I'm not an expert at all, but I clearly know more than the experts that you quote.
How you
because I
know? How
called
you
it
know
spot
more?
on
How
2
you
out
know?
of 2.
This we are into the
Oh,
realm of
okay.
conspiracy now.
Like I
Just
said, Jordan likes to blow smoke up his ass. He thinks he's smarter than everybody else.
You still
That's
haven't
pretty.
explained where I'm wrong. So you think the
Because
Aston Martin
okay,
is more efficient? It doesn't have a drag problem.
okay. The Mercedes has a bigger drag problem than the Aston Martin. So what's your point?
Not anymore. It doesn't.
Oh, you know that.
The Mercedes is the
not
Mercedes.
anymore, it
The
does.
Mercedes might not have the peak downforce, but it has
Okay.
a better, more efficient downforce. It doesn't have as much
it's a
drag penalty.
distinction
When?
without a
Generating
difference. It's just
Since
acceleration.
when?
semantics. It's
Since when?
nonsense.
Since when? Since when?
Since pretty much the whole season.
Oh God.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
No, it
Because
isn't.
if you,
No, it isn't.
yes, it
It's
is.
not at
Yes,
all.
it is. Yes, it is. Because if you go back and review the previous races, Aston Martin had more efficient downforce than Mercedes. They was quicker than Mercs on the streets.
100%.
I don't know.
That doesn't prove
what you're
anything because being quicker
No,
than Max
you know,
Verstappen
I'm-
But you
doesn't prove
just
anything
said
because
they
they
were
run
going to be
different
quick, but
setups.
they were going to be quick on the straight.
No, because they run different setups.
Oh God. So I
you
don't
know,
want to have
John.
this
Like I said, Jordan thinks Jordan. Look, he's the expert. Everybody else doesn't know shit because you said you called two things and you got them right. You were wrong. You said you had asked them to beat Red Bull in Monaco. They lost.
They did lose, but they were the closest challenger.
No,
So
no,
it's still-
Yeah, they were close.
Your
You
argument
look
was
at this just
you
now.
you had them to beat Red Bull. They lost. So this argument about they were close
It
doesn't make
doesn't
any
hold
sense.
water.
They lost.
Yeah, no.
Well,
They lost.
did you
Did
say
they
they'd be the
win?
second fastest team? Did you say
Did
that?
they win? Did they win or did they lose?
They lost. But we can.
Did they win or did they? It's a simple question.
They
Did they win
lost,
or did?
but
Okay,
yeah, but,
so you were wrong.
but
So you were wrong.
But now you talk.
So you
You
were
said earlier
wrong.
about seeing things in
So
binary.
you
Now
were
you're seeing
wrong.
things in binary.
So
You're not
you
seeing
were
the graphs.
wrong. So you were wrong.
That's
right?
very
you were
binary,
wrong.
Thanos.
No,
Very
so you
binary.
were wrong. So you were
You're
wrong.
ignoring the
That's all.
context
Let's
of the
have
argument
this.
there.
I think Jordan's
Guys.
not in good faith. It's obviously clear now.
He
Let's
never
just
argued.
calm down
Look,
for a second.
he's the expert. We all, like I said, Jordan thinks he's smarter than everybody else.
Well,
So give
it's
him the
fine.
room. Jordan, you're right.
Yeah, well,
Jordan, you're right. we're all idiots.
Maybe he's
We
right,
don't know
but
anything. You know
when
everything.
before
Let
this
go.
weekend came, every even Red Bull were scared of Aston Martin on this track. on the single lap. First of all, they were thinking the Aston Martin would beat them to pole. That was what everyone was saying on Friday, on Saturday, and then they just completely went backwards completely. But then again, Jordan is right. They have drag force to whatever ratio that was 30, therefore they can make progress. So we can live with that.
Guys, may I ask a couple questions?
Go ahead, please.
Pleasant weekend to everyone. I guess that's an understatement because everybody must feel a bit elated with the current performance. Yeah.
Unless your name's Jordan.
Oh, God. Jordan and Clinton. Clinton actually said in a different space yesterday that the Mercedes is going backward. It's regressing. That was his words, actually.
Okay.
Anyway,
so
finish your question, Jab.
I did not say that. Now you're just making.
I didn't say Jordan. I said Clinton.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough then. I thought I was still under attack.
All right. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. So, okay, my first question is going to go to Jordan. Jordan, I understand your contention. I believe that you do not see Mercedes in.
Can you hear me?
Sorry about that, guys. Somebody was trying to call me.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do not see. Do you see in the foreseeable?
That call must be very important. You have to take it.
I'm on the edge of my seat now. What the question is?
I think he's still being disconnected. Maybe the call is coming in. He can actually get through this question.
Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that again. It wouldn't happen anymore. All right. So Jordan, yeah. So I guess in understanding, I guess most of us here is getting this. You do not see Mercedes in a reliable, competitive form beyond Barcelona at the moment, right? You probably need, let's say, a Canada and probably a couple more races to get to that complete analogy. But the thing what I'm trying to get to here is, what are your parameters as to determining Mercedes being a reliable, consistent competitor throughout the rest of the season?
Do you mean to second place?
No. I understand you on that fact already.
You mean to Red Bull?
Yes, obviously we're trying to win. We're not trying to be second. Yes.
They will not catch Red Bull this season under any circumstances. They're too far ahead. So they have to look at next year.
Okay, yes, I get that. But how do you see them? What are your parameters as to believing that they will become a reliable competitor in the leading into next year? Just in terms of gaining performance, gaining that reliability factor of winning, what are the parameters you're going to use? You're going to have guide you as to determining and believing that.
When I see it happen, because we see many times teams, they can move forward, then their progress just halts, and then they end up falling backwards again. So only when it happens is it going to happen, because there's too many factors. And right now we're too far away from ever being at that point, because they're at least a year behind in development time, in my opinion. They need a full winter to try and sort out the final issues with the car, and specifically change the chassis. Obviously, is a big talking point around this.
I see. So that's why I get a bit of understanding as to why you're not being optimistic, because you don't think we're gonna have a winning car in this season, right? That's a done deal right there, right?
Winning car, we might win one race on luck, like Brazil last year, or factors that fall in our favour, like Red Bull mess up the setup or whatever, and Mercedes are there to pick up the pieces. But that again, everyone saw that as optimistic, and it was wrong to be optimistic at that point, because they made a terrible mistake keeping the concept at that point. They've got many decisions to make from now until being competitive with Red Bull, and they can easily make many wrong decisions in that time. So reading what's happening now is pointless, in my opinion. You might as well just not focus on that too much. and just accept that their fight at the moment is to try and at least consistently get P3 every week, because that would mean they're
What
clearly
you
the
just
fastest
what
team.
is
And
what is
then
point?
from there,
What is
you
hold
start
on?
looking
What
at it
hold on?
further.
What is point? You just said something
Right.
is
So you
pointless at
think
the
that
moment.
you
What
think if we do have a consistent, progressive, reliable, rest of season, probably next year we could actually be at the point of being the competitor, the winning competitor.
Yeah, well, it would show that they'd understand. They've got good correlation, so they can move forward. They're not lost.
Well, Toto does look a
So
bit.
that is, that gets them a platform to build on. But there's still many design decisions that have to be made, and it's impossible to know, completely impossible, if they're going to get it right or not, because that's just the nature of this business.
But what it seems is that Toto seems to be sort of confident at this time that they have gotten to a point where they understand the car to the point that they feel that it could be progressive on their build or their upgrades or their performance going forward. Is that what you're reading as well, or?
Yeah, there's definitely that comes across, but I would say we saw that kind of confidence last year, and it did not transpire into what they expected. When they had all the data collection and they were like, oh, we're now confident we understand what is causing porpoising, so we can move on. And there were actually many other factors at play going into the season after why they couldn't compete, which Toto did not consider at the time.
Jordan, but they did resolve corporate. But
All right, man. So Tanis and Kingsley, do you guys agree with Jordan on this
Absolutely
factor,
not. I don't
or?
agree with him, but he's entitled to his own opinion, so I don't agree with him.
And what would you guys view as your parameter as to the performance of?
Red Bull came to this season, say 0.7 to a second ahead of Mercedes. Today we didn't see that. If that number continues to go down, that's enough progress for me.
Hey,
but the number went down last year, didn't it? So that isn't.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Because, like I said, you can make progress and make progress and make progress and make progress, but never get to where you need to be, and then suddenly you're not making progress anymore. Especially with the law of diminishing returns. So there's no guarantees that they're going to make progress to beat Red Bull until it actually happens. I mean,
there's guarantee that Red Bull can always progress, for example, but there's no guarantee Mercedes can progress to catch Red Bull. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say there's a guarantee that Red Bull can always progress if you left the rules as they are, but we've only got 2 more years after that before they change the engines again. So in that 2 years, 24 months, there is still probably a lot of scope for Red Bull to still find a second in lap time, maybe between half second and second, which will keep the others from progressing quite.
Okay, so why do you think, for example, that Aston Martin could find 2 seconds and Red Bull couldn't?
Well, Aston Martin came much further back.
Exactly. So by the time Red Bull is going further to the claim, it's converging at the top.
But you're agreeing with me because that's the law. That's the law of diminishing returns.
Exactly.
In play, isn't it?
So the gap, the lap time.
So when you said that you need to see them make continuous progress, the fact they're making progress now does not mean they're going to continue to make that same level of progress.
That's the point.
Which is my point.
So,
that's my
Red
point.
Bull, for example, as they go towards the cliff, they will be making lesser progress, whereas other teams that are trying to catch up to converge will be making higher progress. If the laws of diminishing return you're talking about,
in theory, yes, but I think there's not in theory.
It's not in theory. It's
so I guess reliable consistency here would be determined by, let's say, for the rest of the season, like a race by race basis.
Yeah, for me, here's my own thing. If Mercedes can close the gap to 2 tenths by the end of the season, and then have the winter to develop the car, I think they will be competing with Red Bull come next year.
Hello? I thought you said the gap was already 3 tenths.
Yeah, yes. That's what I'm saying. If they consistently hold that gap to the end of the season or bring it down a bit, that's fine. If it's more than that, I would think, okay, they will have a lot to do to catch up. But if it's consistently on 3 tenths by the end of the season, not just today's race, then that's meaningful progress that they can take into the winter, and then they catch up with Red Bull.
Guys, another thing, I don't fully understand the wind tunnel factor, but
So why?
How
So why?
does
Yeah, Thanos, I can
I
hear
was
you.
trying to
We
say
can
something.
hear you, Thanos. It's,
Hold on,
yeah, but
because I was trying to say something to
your
John.
voice is not here.
Jordan said something about law of diminishing returns is not. You said something about it's not guaranteed or something like that.
Yeah.
Is
No,
that
I
what you?
said I don't think there's enough time for it to apply to Red Bull because I think there's only 2 more seasons
Why not?
before they bring the engines in.
Yeah,
I'm
but the
literally saying that
yeah,
now because there's only 2 more seasons before they bring the
yeah, but
engines
they only
in.
change.
So
They only
they're going
changing
to
the
have
engine.
enough room.
Oh my fucking god, dude! Let me say something, dude. They're only changing the engines.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
era
I get your
regulations will
point on
still
that.
be the same.
So the error may converge, but then what I'm saying is someone else is likely to get the engine spot on and have a big advantage at that point. So then
Yeah, but
the whole dial of
but
progress resets.
But to think that they can't close the era gap in 2 seasons, I don't think that's a fair assessment.
It's not. It's an opinion. It's not an
Based on
opinion.
history, that's a completely fair assessment, though, because when Mercedes kept their advantage when they were clearly ahead in a dominant force for many seasons, longer than 2 years.
But that was an error. That was not error. That was engine.
2 years is not a long amount of time. Let's be honest.
That was engine,
it's
not
just
error.
not. In,
But
in terms
but
of
Jordan,
engine.
if going back to what Kingsley said, if Aston can gain 2 seconds in the winter, why can't Mercedes gain that
But
same
again, they
amount
came
of?
from basically last, so that 2 seconds is a less significant 2 seconds than the 3/10.
No, that's irrespective. That's besides the point of where they're coming from. They still gain, so they came from last to leapfrog Mercedes, and Mercedes, who was a bigger gap to them, right?
Yeah, but Mercedes are not perfect in any means because they've had to change the concept.
You keep.
They've had big correlations.
But when did Aston Martin came from last? I don't understand. Where did they come from last?
You can only really compare them to Red Bull because Red Bull have not had any problems whatsoever with their car design, and basically they're just evolving year on year.
So exactly.
If you're talking about revolution, then you can't really compare.
So Red Bull's performance gain would be incremental compared to what Mercedes in a brand new concept can find, because Red Bull are closer. Red Bull are closer to the P than Mercedes. So why is it you think it's 2 seasons won't be enough for them to make that leap?
Well, it may be, but
you didn't use maybe
it won't be. I mean,
said maybe.
No, you didn't say that. You said they can't.
I said I don't think. I mean, these are all my opinions.
But I don't think these. But you're the expert here, so you should be giving us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So you shouldn't be giving us opinions. You should be giving us factual statements.
Why?
Because you're the expert.
I'm not an employee of the team.
But you're the expert. You're the guy that dismisses the experts' opinions.
Thanos, none of us
say
are
they don't know what
experts, we know nothing about what's actually going on. But we're all just speculating.
No, but
as fans, we're all just speculating.
Yeah, but you earlier said people who are experts within the field who more information.
Yeah, you were talking about journalists. You were talking
not
about
just journalists. No.
Journalists are more in the loop than we are for the most part.
Jordan,
journalists have more information.
Jordan, it wasn't just
journalists.
It was not just journalists. Red Bull themselves were scared of Aston Martin this weekend in Spain.
Well, if you believe that, but come on, they were not.
On a single lap,
literally before the race, Natalie Pinkham said that Red Bull had told them that they think their only competition is themselves.
After the fact,
that shows how scared they were of everyone
Jordan,
else.
After the fact,
After the fact, Jordan.
Red Bull are not scared of anyone. Come on, let's just be realistic here. They've got such an advantage that they don't have to be at the moment.
And that is how this space just went completely numb. And then we can. It's crazy. It's a double down.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Anyway, either way, today, because I'm gonna end the stream now because I'm gonna have something to do. Anyway, it was a good day for Mercedes. All in all, 2-3.
It was more than a good day.
Car looks. It was an excellent day. It's like Lawrence said, we should celebrate because we may not get one for another. We may not get one for another 5 races. You never know. We could turn up in Canada and finish behind the
No,
house.
it's not gonna happen.
I mean, you never know.
It's not gonna happen. It's not happening.
It's not gonna.
Podium from here on going forward.
It's going to be podium from here going forward.
All right, then cool. But anyway, like I said, it was a good weekend. Good results for the team. They know what second in the
Yeah,
championship.
constructor.
Ferrari, they've dropped Ferrari like a stone. That's a sink. That
How
ship
do
sinking.
you bring an upgrade, major upgrade, and it doesn't just work?
And
Ah,
then have your drivers saying, you know what, this was probably the worst race to
they've
bring the
ever heard.
upgrade to them.
Ah, come
So which is the best? Which would have been a more suitable race for them?
exactly.
But
Let's not.
anyway, we take our small victories 2-3 today. Lewis extend his lead over George in the championship, close the lead down to Alonso to what? The gap to Alonso to 12 points.
Yeah.
We can work from here. So here's to onwards and upwards and better things for the remainder of the season. I think there's a win. There's probably a couple wins on the cards for
Yeah,
Mercedes,
especially
preferably Lewis.
the sprint weekend. We can, if we get it right and Rebel get it wrong, we might get a win or two from.
And I think there's going to come a race where we're actually going to beat them on pace. I genuinely believe that.
On
But
race pace.
you know,
Well, it's possible. Yeah,
yeah,
because Lewis was very well matching that Red Bull today most of the time. Yeah, so
yeah. I think we're going to get there. But it's a long season. This was what round
eight.
seven,
It's
round six,
eight.
eight. Oh yeah, I forgot we didn't have
Yeah.
so 15 more races. Here's for bet 15 more good races for Mercedes and Lewis.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy, everyone, and we catch up again.
All right, guys.
What,
Cheers,
in
man.
2 weeks' time in Canada?
See you.
We out. Jordan, you're wrong.